Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. In today's episode, we got a hell of an episode for you guys. You definitely want to stick around for, so make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Anyway, as y'all know, the biggest news since the NBA playoffs has been the news of Kevin Durant requesting to be traded from the Brooklyn Nets. That news has pretty much dominated the sports circuits, and I totally understand it, right? It's dominating the airwaves, and it makes perfect sense. And because of that news, media personalities and NBA fans are putting together trade scenarios basically every single day. Every time I open up my Instagram, I always see, oh, could KD go to Portland? Could he go to the Phoenix Suns? Now he may be going to Miami. If you get there's so many different trade scenarios because of the frenzy that's surrounding this play, because of the caliber of player Kevin Durant is. But in the midst of all of this, we are forgetting about $147 million a year man. And that man is one Russell Westbrook. Think about this. Just 1 year ago, the Lakers acquired Russell Westbrook in a blockbuster trade, in a blockbuster deal, and a decent amount of people, including Vegas, by the way, thought that he was going to be the final championship piece that was going to push that team over the top. And ultimately, y'all know what happened. The Lakers didn't even make it into the what do you call it? The play-in tournament, right? We all know how that ended up. And this morning, I was actually reading an article from CBSSports.com that made me think that Russell Westbrook may not be as safe as he thinks he's going to be. But before we go any further, this video is brought to you by Aura, the sponsor of this video, who's also the sponsor of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards, only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's the sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds, someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/dreamerspro. And when you try Aura, by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. Now let me get into this article and basically explain to you what this article had to say here. It's a bit long, but I think it's important. So let me just get into it. The article starts off with the headline, Kyrie Irving trade rumors. Lakers Nets actively discussing deal involving Russell Westbrook per report. The article continues on. The Brooklyn Nets and the Los Angeles Lakers are making progress on a trade that will swap Kyrie Irving and Russell Westbrook, according to Chris Haynes. Other pieces would have to be involved, but there is a palpable optimism that the two sides can figure out a deal this summer. Irving recently opted into the final year of his deal worth $36.4 million, but it's expected to be traded after the star teammate Kevin Durant requested a trade from the Nets. If Kevin Durant is on the first train out, Kyrie Irving will be on the caboose as far as the Nets are concerned. Brian Windhorst reported earlier this week, coming off a season in which he played just 29 games because he refused to receive the vaccine. And given his previous injury history, Irving hasn't played 70 games in a season since 2017 when he was still with the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Lakers, though, have very little to lose. Irving represents their best chance to add talent this summer, and he has a previous relationship with LeBron James. Both players will be hitting the free agency next season, and the Lakers are trying to squeeze one more title out of LeBron and Anthony Davis. And basically, the article goes on and on and on. Y'all can go check it out and read it. It's on CBS. It's on CBSSports.com. Let me tell you why this could come to reality. Let me tell you why there's a real possibility that could happen. This could happen for one simple reason, or for one word, with one word. And that word is salaries. Salaries is the reason why this thing could actually happen. Remember, Russell Westbrook is set to make $47 million this year. So keep that number right there. And Kyrie Irving will make $36 million, which means that all the Nets need to do is add another salary to make those salaries match, and probably a pick or so. Because remember, in NBA trades, salaries need to be virtually the same, or I think within a few $100,000 or so. I don't know exactly, right? I'm not a GM. I don't know that, right? But one would assume that the salaries need to match in some way, shape, or form. And if they're able to do that, the Lakers, in one fell swoop, would be able to swap Russell Westbrook for Kyrie Irving. And if they manage to pull off that trade, I really think Kyrie Irving will be able to help the Lakers out for a few reasons. First of all, Kyrie Irving will be able to help the Lakers with their three-point shooting. I think last season, the Lakers ranked somewhere in the middle of the pack, or towards the end of the, I think in the 20s in terms of teams with three-point shooting. So Kyrie Irving can definitely help them there, because just 2 seasons ago, the guy averaged 50, 40, 90. The guy shot 40% from the three-point line. So Kyrie Irving is a hell of a shooter. He can also help them with his ball handling and playmaking abilities. As y'all know, Kyrie Irving does not have butterfingers like Russell Westbrook. You're not going to see Kyrie Irving fumbling and bumbling the basketball all up and down the basketball court. That is not his issue, right? Kyrie Irving is, he has the ball on a string when he's playing. He's probably one of the top 5-3 ball handlers in the history of basketball. I mean, he is fantastic. He's up there with the Isaiah Thomases and these guys. So, he will definitely help him with that, and his playmaking abilities, just being able to break down defenses with his dribble, get guys open. So I think he can definitely help him there. Another thing is that he would be another scoring threat for the Lakers, right? A reliable scoring threat. That's something Russell Westbrook wasn't, because of his inefficiency and his proclivity to turn over the basketball. Kyrie Irving, I don't believe, will have that problem. He is also a great free throw shooter, so you can keep him in games late. That's not what you saw with Russell Westbrook. I think at certain times, the Lakers head coach at the time, Frank Vogel, sat Russell Westbrook because of his ability to not be able to even make free throws. You don't have that problem when you have Kyrie Irving on the floor, and he can also be their closer. Right? He can be their bona fide closer. And I think on many different occasions, when Kyrie Irving was teammates with LeBron James, he was closing out some games, right? Because Kyrie Irving is a very clutch basketball player. Because of his ability to shoot and his ball handling skills, he can pretty much get to any spot on the floor and get a decent look on decent coverage. If you put a bigger player on him like LeBron or something like that, obviously it'll be a little bit more difficult for him to be able to get up a clean look. But with all of those different things that he has, with all of those different things, I think Kyrie Irving would definitely help the Lakers. And I think obviously he would not help them on the defensive end, and that's one of probably their biggest issue. But also the Lakers had some issues on the offensive side of the floor. We're just talking about the limitations that Russell Westbrook had in his game, and given the fact that Russell Westbrook and LeBron James are quite similar players, if you look at their skill set, minus the playmaking ability of LeBron, who can do that at a very high level, when just 2 seasons ago he actually led the NBA in assists. But I definitely think that if the Lakers are able to acquire Kyrie Irving, I think it's definitely an upgrade, number one. Number two, I think he'll be able to help them win a lot of games, or a lot more games, right? I think he bumps them up to maybe that season, 33 games, if I'm not mistaken. I think he gets them up to the 45 mark, possibly the 50 mark, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he makes them a championship favorite, because that's going to be also contingent upon the pieces they have surrounding Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, but also the type of player Anthony Davis is going to be and the type of player LeBron James is going to be. We need to understand what the pecking order is going to be on that roster. And Kyrie Irving also has the propensity to go out there and, just basically chuck up the basketball. There were a number of occasions when he was playing with Kevin Durant, who was clearly the better player and the better option on the Brooklyn Nets. And you see Kyrie come down the court and take 5 straight shots over Kevin Durant, right? Very Russell Westbrook-esque, right? But all of those things being said, I do think that this thing can actually happen. And the key to all of it was getting these 2 players to opt into their deal. Russell Westbrook did it. So did Kyrie. If either of these players didn't opt into that deal, they wouldn't have been able to get that trade. So it could possibly happen. And the question of the audience is, do you think it can? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. Catch y'all on the next episode. Peace.